Hey guys, it is I, Kuroninja, and round one of the Best in the Multiverse Summer 2025 tournament is now over. So it's time to look at the current standings. Now before we continue, I'd like to remind you that there are no ties in this tournament. So if a match ends in a draw, then I decide the winner with my tiebreaker vote. Starting off in the first quarter, we got the left hand of the Nightmare King, Reynari, against the Ninja of Life, Satomi. The result is a draw, but I will begrudgingly choose Reynari to move on to round two because she's one of Hibiki no Oja's favorites, and Hibiki no Oja is my producer. Next, we got Kirame Green versus Solar Kuroninja, and of course, it was Kirame Green who won this match. Kirame Green is not just a fan favorite, she's also in the Legendary 7 and Emerald Club, so I think she's gonna go far in this tournament. Next is the matchup between Kamen Rider Shibaki Maru and Yodonna. Both of these competitors were in the first tournament, and they were also in the first quarter. I know Yodonna is one of my favorite characters in Super Sentai, but I think Kamen Rider Shibaki Maru is a better choice, and so she's the one who will move on to round two. And then we've got Kamen Rider Gav versus Kuroninja. Kamen Rider Gav won this round, and I have a feeling he's going to be a popular pick to win this tournament, but I don't think he'll be as dominant as Kamen Rider Build. Another popular matchup was Ninja Blue versus Patoran Ichigo, but it was very one-sided in favor of Patoran Ichigo. I was hoping Ninja Blue could win, but Patoran Ichigo is a fan favorite, so it makes sense. However, there was another matchup that involved an enforcer of the law, and that was Blue Roninja, Kuroninja of Earth 119 against Medic, also known as Romeo 009. I think Medic had a higher chance of making it to round two than Reynari, and of course, she won this one. Up next, we got Bronzar versus Kaze no Shizuka. OCs are usually at a disadvantage, so it was very surprising when Bronzar won. I don't know if it's because a lot of people liked his look or if it's because some people think Kaze no Shizuka was annoying in Bokenger. Anyway, Bronzar, the right-hand man of Lord Nemesis, has won the match. And last in the first quarter is Io Kodera versus Gyaru 4. I didn't think the former Yodomi Hime would win this match, but she did, even though she's not Yodomi Hime anymore. I met Io one time at a music festival, and she still has a few fans. Now we're in the second quarter, and our first match was quite peculiar. Kuroninja ended up winning his match in round one, but of course he won because he didn't even have an opponent. I mean, look at this picture. Kuroninja's the only one there. What I don't get is why Kuroninja still had to compete for votes when he could have just moved on to the second round. The first proper match in the second quarter was Void Jack versus Omega, two OCs associated with darkness. Void Jack won easily, and I saw it coming because he won the Kuroninja Award for OC of the Year in 2024. Will this help him keep up his momentum? Only time will tell. Up next, we got Dandara Goku versus Kogasa Tatara, my favorite Toho character. I don't understand how Dandara Goku won this match. I thought he was the least popular member of the Don Brothers, so how on earth did he win against one of the best Toho characters of all time? Well, it doesn't matter, he still won. And then we got Lupin Green versus Death Ryuger, another one-sided match. Death Ryuger won the match, and even though Anti-Kuroninja's girlfriend isn't in the tournament anymore, he can still cheer for Kirame Green. The next matchup was Don Kuroninja versus Princess Chimera. The winner of this match was Princess Chimera, who is more popular than the Kuroninja of Earth 893. I have never seen a single episode of Dynaman, so I don't know how popular she is. Next matchup is Kamen Rider Valvarad versus Bakarad, and Hibiki no Oja can rest easy, knowing that his least favorite Kamen Rider lost to Bakarad, and so he will not be advancing to round two. You must really hate Valvarad as much as Hibiki no Oja, because I don't know why else you would vote for Bakarad other than having an interest in gambling. Now, Kuroninja versus Tombo Oja was also a one-sided match, and I knew that Tombo Oja was going to win. Kuroninja wasn't as lucky with his opponent as Kuroninja, who didn't even have one. And the last one in this quarter was between the unidentified fantastic flying girl, Nue Hoju, against the Sentai Slayer, the Dark Idol, All Heart No Soul, Haruna Nakamura. Kogasa may have failed, but Nue succeeded, and so she is the first Toho character to move on to round two. We are now in the third quarter, and the first match in this one is Akuma no Kuroninja versus Tsubaki. Akuma no Kuroninja's already had his moment as the villain of my 5-year anniversary special, so I'm glad most of you voted for Tsubaki. Next is Kikyo Kosaka versus Kuroninja Ichigo, the Kuroninja of Earth 15 who thinks he's number one. Kuroninja Ichigo isn't the most well-liked liked, I think. But against Kikyo, of course he would win that match. Next up, we got another Kuroninja versus Kamen Rider Valen. The winner of this match was Kamen Rider Valen, and thank goodness he won, because another Kuroninja is one of the most obsessive Kuroninjas in the multiverse, almost on the same level as Kiji Brother, who went up against Shinosuke Nakamura in round 1. Kiji Brother was a semi-finalist in the last tournament, and in this match he got the win over Shinosuke. The match between Buke and Ran was one I was watching very closely. It was a match between my favorite character in Gozuger and my favorite character in Kakuranger, so it didn't matter who lost, I would always win. And a lot of you voted for Ran, which I think was the right choice. Next is the match between Sakuya Izayoi and Gyaru 1, two skilled warriors who specialize in the blade. Sakuya was the winner of that match, and if she wins this tournament, I'm sure it will be a flowering night to remember. Then there's the matchup between Mizuki Kakihara and Willow Yanagi. It's a draw, so I'm choosing Willow Yanagi to be the winner, because I have no idea what Mizuki could do in my 10-year anniversary special. And lastly, we got Kajiki Yellow versus Gokai Red, but there's a 50% chance it could be Super Mega Force Red instead. Lastly, we got the fourth quarter, starting with Karakasa versus Yuri. The winner of this match was Karakasa, which makes me think that you either really love Karakasa or you really hate Yuri. If it's the former, I've got no problem with that, but if it's the latter, then I have to ask, what's wrong with Yuri? Either way, if Kogasa isn't moving to round 2, then I'm okay with this result. And up next is Black Lion Rio against the Ace of Cups, KN. KN won this match, and I was surprised because I thought Rio would win. Next is Momo Ninja versus Shinken Gold. I was fine with any outcome, because Momo Ninja is the first one in the Legendary 7, and Shinken Gold is my third favorite Shinkenger. To my surprise, Momo Ninja got the victory. I knew she had her fans, but I didn't know she would be liked more than Genta. Another match between Rangers was Inu Brother versus Boken Black, two Black Rangers from a couple seasons I like. The winner by a wide margin was Inu Brother, who was way more popular than Boken Black. Gozu Wolf versus Juzo Fua was another interesting match, but it was clear that the winner would be Gozu Wolf. I kinda knew that Gozu Wolf would make it to round 2 though. And then there's the match between Sonoroku and Gyaru 5, two characters who both competed in the previous Best in the Multiverse tournament. Neither of them made it to round 2, and this match is a tie. But since there are no ties, I will pick Gyaru 5 to advance to round 2. The Metal Heroes fans deserve something after all, and those three were the only ones from that series picked by the randomizer this time. In fact, while I was writing the script, someone else voted for Gyaru 5, so she was gonna win anyway. The last two matchups were very interesting. You probably wouldn't believe that it was a result of the order when they were chosen by the randomizer. First off, we got Don Murasame against Don Momotaro. As everyone expected, the winner was Don Momotaro, and even though he's a Red Ranger, I hope he wins this whole tournament. And lastly, we got Kamen Rider Otaitai versus Kamen Rider Cayman, a matchup between two off-screen riders from Kamen Rider Geats. Neither of them made it past the first round of the Desire Grand Prix, but the deathmatch legend, Kamen Rider Otaitai, made it past the first round in this tournament, getting a lot more votes than Hibiki no Oja's secret weapon, Kamen Rider K-Man. Those were the results of round 1, but before I end the video, I want to tell you the matchups for round 2. In the first quarter, we got Rainari versus Kirame Green, Kamen Rider Shibaki Maru versus Kamen Rider Gav, Patra and Ichigo versus Medic, and Bronzar versus Io Kodera. In the second quarter, we got Kuroninja Khan versus Void Jack, Don Dragoku versus Death Ryuger, Princess Chimera versus Bakarad, and Tombo Oger versus Nue Hoju. In the third quarter, we got Tsubaki versus Kuroninja Ichigo, Kamen Rider Valen versus Kiji Brother, Ran versus Sakuya Izayoi, and Willow Yanagi versus this Red Ranger who may or may not be Gokai Red. And lastly, in the fourth quarter, we got Karakasa versus KN, Momo Ninja versus Inu Brother, Gozu Wolf versus Gyaru 5, and Don Momotaro versus Kamen Rider Otaitai. But anyway, that is all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, I have nothing to do with Kuroninja.